You are a lobed-finned fish. Hear me out. When you think of human evolution, you probably think of ancient chimpanzees wandering through the forests, or even ancient humans daubing woolly mammoths on cave walls. But we humans, along with hummingbirds, bears, lizards, even the T-Rex, are actually lobe-finned fish. It might sound bizarre, but the evidence is in our genes, anatomy, and fossils. We belong to a group of animals known as land-dwelling sarcopterygians, and vast amounts of evolutionary change has obscured our appearance over time. You see, we think as fish as expert swimmers. But did you know that they've actually evolved to walk 5 different times? There are some species that pull themselves forward with very developed forefins, while others actually walk along the ocean floor. Our sarcopterygian ancestor evolved lungs and other air-breathing techniques along with bony limbs and a stronger spinal cord before venturing onto land. These adaptations were not only useful in aquatic environments, but they also allowed for our ancestors to explore the land. These were almost pre-adaptations for life on land. You see, in the Devonian period, the water-to-land transition has to be one of the most significant events in vertebrate evolution. Now, why fish evolved or adapted and changed to come on land is a really big open-ended question. It may have started with a way to escape from predators, but the landscape of our ancestors that they discovered was already rich in plants such as mosses, horsetails, ferns, as well as arthropods like millipedes, which colonized the land millions of years earlier. Walking independently evolved several times in fish, making it an example of evolutionary convergence. Similar to wings in bats and birds, the wings didn't evolve to be wings right from the start. They actually adapted over time and changed their use. The evolution of walking in fish is very rare. See, there are over 30,000 species of fish that we know of today, and only a handful of them can walk. You see, sarcopterygians differ from other fish in some very fundamental and important ways. For example, our fins, or limbs, have bony supports with muscular lobes, which means that we can move on land with more ease and efficiency. And it's this adaptation which has been crucial for the tetrapods, which includes amphibians, birds, reptiles, and mammals. Many of the genes found in the forming of limbs and digits in tetrapods are actually found in water-bound sarcopterygians like the lungfish, which actually indicates that these traits evolved in our ancient ancestor. Now, because of the scarcity in the fossil record, it's always hard to find the exact ancient ancestor that was responsible for all of us, but it probably looks similar to the coelacanth, which has a very rich fossil record and in fact is a living fossil. It lives in the West Indian Ocean and Indonesia, and the funny thing about the coelacanth is we found fossils of it before we knew it still existed, which is why it's called a living fossil. Walking sarcopterygian fish are either extinct, so things like Tiktaalik, which was recently found and is a groundbreaking transitionary fossil, or they're so highly evolved that we don't recognize them as fish anymore, i.e. tetrapods. But as I mentioned before, there are some fish that do use their forefins as appendages to help them move. One example of a living fish that walks is known as the mud skipper. Now, this creature lives in the swampy mangroves and tidal flats, and it uses its pectoral fins not only to run away from aquatic predators over land into other ponds, but they also forage for food because they feed off organic muds and soils, but they also go on land to interact with each other, such as mating. Another example is the walking catfish. Now, similar to the mud skipper, these fish actually go across land to try and escape drying ponds and find new habitats. So that leads us to the question, how did genes related to walking first evolve? Well, the answer to that lies with a tiny creature, well, not tiny, but small creature known as the little skate. This fish is cartilaginous because it's related to sharks and to rays, and they're not bony fish because they're made of cartilage. The little skate is of great interest because it actually walks on its fins under the water with similar movements as land-based animals. And because the little skate is made of cartilage and it can still walk without a bony structure, is really intriguing because that means it's not a sarcopterygian. So we want to understand why that creature can walk when it's not classed as what we are when we can walk. And up until recently, it was quite hard to understand why they were able to do what they were able to do until we started to look at their genome, where we actually uncovered that the fin-based walking actually used only 10 muscles compared to tetrapods, which use 50. And by comparing the little skate with tetrapods, we can understand which genes are important to help and to start the evolution of walking. To find out, the team of researchers actually looked at the genes in the nervous system responsible for controlling the limbs in a chicken, a mouse, and the little skate. And what they found was all the animals had a similar gene expression pattern, and the motor nerves, which are responsible for controlling the limbs, all had the same muscle function. Therefore, even though these walking fish may have had many different evolutionary pathways to get where they are today, this study suggests that there's a common genetic mechanism involved. So why did humans evolve to be the best walkers? Well, you see, by the end of the Triassic period, some 201 million years ago, both dinosaurs and mammals were very excellent runners. Humans refined these locomotive powers by evolving numerous adaptations that make us one of the most efficient and capable running species on this planet. Adaptations like the spring-like Achilles tendon, which holds and stores energy, allowing us to have long strides and a more balanced center of gravity. These adaptations allowed us to run extremely long distances with very high endurance, even though at lower speeds. Ancestors used running for hunting, for escaping predators, and for foraging. It's also shaped our anatomy, our physiology, and culture, and many studies show that walking and running are crucial to our well-being and physical health. It's been a long road for the origin of walking in our fish-like ancestors who first colonized the land. But walking and running is a central part of the human lifestyle and part of our evolutionary success. Thank you for watching, especially for those that stuck through it to the end. I'm going to try and make more long-form content from now on so that you guys get a better picture of our planet and our past. Thanks. See you in the next one.